Welcome to Pulse of the World. Today's top story centers on a stunning act of violence at the heart of state government, an arson attack on the official residence of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro. The incident has drawn national attention, not only for the danger it posed to the governor and his family, but for what it signals about the rising tide of political tension and violence in the United States. As this story develops, it's becoming clear that the implications reach far beyond Harrisburg. Late last night, as the Shapiro family gathered to celebrate Passover at the governor's mansion, the peace was shattered by a deliberate and dangerous act. A fire was ignited on the premises, endangering the governor, his children, guests, and members of the Pennsylvania State Police who were on security detail. Swift action by those troopers and first responders likely saved lives. Thankfully, everyone was evacuated safely, including the family's pets. But the emotional and symbolic weight of this attack cannot be overstated. Governor Shapiro appeared before cameras today to offer a statement filled with both strength and sorrow. Flanked by members of his security team and law enforcement, he made it clear that this was more than just a fire. It was an attempt to intimidate, to sow fear, and to shake the very foundations of democratic governance. But the governor vowed that neither he nor his administration would back down. His voice firm, Shapiro thanked the brave officers and firefighters who responded and credited them with preventing a greater tragedy. He emphasized that Pennsylvania remains united and strong in the face of such cowardly actions. He also took time to acknowledge the trauma his children and family members experienced, describing how an attack so close to home has left scars that will take time to heal. In a dramatic development, state police later confirmed the arrest of 38-year-old Cody Balmer, a resident of Harrisburg. Balmer has been charged with multiple felonies, including aggravated arson and attempted homicide. Investigators say the suspect deliberately targeted the governor's residence, setting the fire with the intent to cause harm. While Balmer is in custody, authorities say the investigation remains active, with questions still unanswered about motive, potential accomplices, and ideological affiliations. Law enforcement leaders, including Colonel Christopher Paris of the Pennsylvania State Police and officials from the FBI, held a joint press conference, describing a coordinated investigation that spans state and federal jurisdictions. They praised the professionalism and quick thinking of responders, while urging the public to remain vigilant. Additional patrols have been deployed around government buildings and high-profile residences, underscoring the seriousness of the threat. Dauphin County District Attorney Franz Shardo has pledged full prosecution, stating that acts of violence against public officials or their families will be met with the full force of the law. In his statement, Shardo emphasized that political disagreement is no excuse for endangering lives, and he praised the bipartisan support that has emerged in response to the incident. Indeed, the reaction from across the political spectrum has been swift and unified. Republicans and Democrats alike condemned the attack. Former governors of Pennsylvania, members of Congress, and leaders of faith communities have expressed solidarity with the Shapiro family. President Joe Biden called the governor personally to offer support and directed federal agencies to assist in the investigation. But beyond the immediate concern for safety, this attack has sparked a larger conversation about the climate of political hostility in America. Over the past few years, threats against public officials have surged. According to a recent FBI report, the number of cases involving threats or violence against elected leaders has nearly tripled since 2020. Experts say this reflects a troubling erosion of civic norms and an increase in extremist rhetoric. Governor Shapiro addressed this issue directly, saying, "This is not just about my family. This is about what kind of country we want to be." He pointed out that public service should never come with a target on one's back. He called on leaders at every level to denounce violence unequivocally and to take concrete steps to de-escalate political tensions. Religious leaders, too, have responded powerfully. Rabbis, pastors, imams, and interfaith coalitions have released statements emphasizing the sacredness of home and the sanctity of faith traditions. That the attack occurred during a Passover Seder has deepened its resonance, with many noting the symbolic meaning of liberation and perseverance embedded in the holiday. Despite the trauma, the governor and his family resumed their observance of Passover the following night. Photos shared on social media showed the family gathered in prayer, surrounded by friends and supporters. The message was clear: hate will not win. This show of resilience has inspired many. Community members in Harrisburg held a candlelight vigil outside the governor's mansion. Messages of support poured in from across the country, from school children writing notes of hope to veterans groups expressing gratitude for Shapiro's leadership. The sense of unity, however temporary, is a reminder of the strength that can emerge from adversity. Meanwhile, investigators continue to piece together the suspect's background. Court records show a prior history of erratic behavior, but no official motive has been confirmed. Authorities are examining social media posts, financial transactions, and travel patterns in an effort to determine whether the act was planned independently or encouraged by outside influences. Experts in political violence caution that this may not be an isolated incident. They point to a broader pattern of attacks, including threats to school board members, election officials, and judges. Many are now calling for new federal legislation to enhance the security of public servants and their families. Proposals include increased funding for protective services, expanded mental health interventions, and stricter penalties for politically motivated crimes. Governor Shapiro closed his public remarks with a passionate appeal for unity and vigilance. He said, "Let us meet this moment not with more fear, but with more resolve. Let us recommit to our values, our democracy, and to each other." His words were met with applause from the gathered crowd, many of whom were still visibly shaken. As the investigation moves forward, Pennsylvania and the nation will be watching closely. The governor has promised transparency and accountability throughout the process. His administration has launched a task force to examine security protocols and to offer recommendations for preventing future incidents. We at Pulse of the World will continue to follow this story with the attention and seriousness it deserves. We'll bring you updates from law enforcement, legal experts, and community leaders as new details come to light. This is a time for reflection, but also for action. In a moment when fear tried to divide, courage and compassion are helping to rebuild. Thank you for watching. If you believe in journalism that informs, connects, and stands for truth, subscribe now to Pulse of the World, your trusted source for the news that matters most. Stay informed, stay strong, stay with Pulse of the World.